Hello everyone, I am Laethas and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be starting up a new series that will potentially continue depending on whether you guys want me to continue it or not. And it is a series that I'm going to title What's for Sale, and it's going to be a series where I tell you or list the new manga series that are coming out in the named month. This time it would be for November 2017. And it's going to include the new series that are coming out, or first volumes of series that are coming out, as well as telling you when series are ending, or series that are ending in the month, sort of what day they're ending. So it's more just sort of a news, maybe informative type video, and if you want to see more like this in the future, let me know. If you don't want to see this continue, then let me know that as well. And if it does continue, I plan to release these on the first of every month if I am able to do so. Of course, if you guys don't want to see this, then this will be the only one. I'm just sort of trying new things right now. And also to note is I will not be covering continuing series. It's strictly going to be for series that are just coming out, or newer series, and series that are ending. Now, I could add in more series if you guys want to see that, but there is a massive list, and this video would get very, very long if I included every single manga release for each month. But that's just sort of an introduction, sort of explaining what this series is, or if it will become a series. But for this month, or for November 2017, I'm just going to go in sort of alphabetical order, start with manga, and I have a few other categories in here as well, but to start off with, we have the Kodansha comics releases. Dark Horse does not have any new series coming out this month, which is why they are not on here. And I might miss some new series, so just let me know if I missed a series. It's very possible that I did, but I am going to try not to do so if I can. But yeah, we're going to start with Kodansha. Coming out on the 14th, we have Neo Parasite M. And that is going to be, it's a single volume sort of spin-off series, and it's $14. It's just one volume, as I said, it's a single volume series, and it's sort of kind of like an anthology series taking place in the Parasite universe. And this is Neo Parasite M. There was another one released called Neo Parasite F. That was sort of the same thing, but written or anthologized by Shoujo and Josei mangaka, whereas this is the same thing just by seinen and shonen mangaka. So it's what I plan to do is I plan to read them both. But if you don't plan to read them both, know that this is coming out. If you liked Parasite, this is sort of an anthology series coming out on the 14th. That is sort of I don't know much about it, but it sounds very interesting because it's short stories taking place in the Parasite universe. But yeah. It's a $14 volume for those interested. We also have Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card, which is a sequel series to Cardcaptor Sakura, and that is coming out on the 14th, and that is going to be a $13 volume. I don't know much about Cardcaptor Sakura, admittedly. I haven't watched or read it. I do plan to do so, but that has not taken place yet. But yeah, those Cardcaptor Sakura fans out there, there's a new series coming out on the 14th, and it is $13 per volume. Coming out on the 21st, we have the Kodansha hardcover releases for Battle Angel Alita, and I'm very excited for these because the old Viz releases are all out of print, and these Kodansha re-releases are 2-in-1 hardcovers. So that is very promising because we're getting more hardcover releases. Now, the downside is that those are going to be $30 a volume, but they are 2-in-1s and they are hardcovers. So just keep that on the horizon. If you've been wanting to get Battle Angel Alita, they are being re-released in 2-in-1 hardcovers starting on the 21st, and they are going to be $30 a volume. And moving on the 28th of November, we have a series coming to a close, a very long-running series that is very polarizing for people. Some people really love this series, some people absolutely hate this series, but Volume 63, the final volume of Fairy Tail, is coming out on the 28th of November. And that is going to be an $11 volume. So for those of you that have been enjoying the series, know that is coming to an end if you didn't already, and the final volume is going to be available on the 28th of November. And last up for the Kodansha Comics releases for this year, we have Wake Up Sleeping Beauty. I literally know nothing about this series. All I know is that it's new, it's coming out on the 28th, and it's $13 for the volume. So I want to say it's a shoujo, but I really don't know. But I didn't, for whatever reason, I didn't write down the type of series it was on the sort of list that I made that I'm reading off of. But yeah. I will do that in the future, so I don't have these awkward moments like I'm having right now. But yeah, I believe that is a shoujo series coming out by Kodansha on the 28th for $13. I think it's an ongoing in Japan, so there's that. Next up, we're going to move on to 7 Seas Entertainment. On the 7th, we have the Hollow Fields Color Edition, which is a $13 volume. It's an OEL. And this is a color reprint because it was originally in black and white. And this is an OEL by Madeleine Rosca. I know nothing about Hollow Fields. All I know is that it's an OEL and that it's color reprint. So if you own the series, it's coming out in color. For those of you that are interested in Hollow Fields. Coming out on the 14th. We have the final volume, the third and final volume of Hana and Hina After School. This is the latest Yuri series put out by Milk Morinaga, and it's 3 volumes long, and this is the final volume coming out on the 14th, and that is going to be $13. So I'm excited because I am a Yuri fan. Anyone else who is a Yuri fan, Milk Morinaga is a fantastic Yuri writer, so I highly encourage you to pick up her stuff. Girlfriends especially, but the final volume of Hana and Hina After School is coming out on the 14th. Next up, we have, I believe the official title is Slumbering Beauty. This is coming out on the 28th, but it's listed as Sleeping Beauty. I think it's called Slumbering Beauty because of copyright reasons, the obvious. But this is a new series. It's a josei. And it's going to be $13 a volume. Don't know how many volumes it will be, but it is a new josei series coming out on the 28th, released by 7 Seas Entertainment. I don't know anything about it, other than I think the name has to be changed due to copyright reasons, which is kind of funny. Also coming out on the 28th, we have Unmagical Girl. That is also going to be $13 a volume, and I did a little bit of research on this because I am personally interested and fascinated by this series because it's about a magical girl that comes to the real world, sort of. Like, she's like a fictional character, and then she's sort of like pulled out of the fictional world. I don't know, but she's living in the real world. So it's sort of like the opposite of the isekai stories that we've been seeing. The premise alone reminds me of The Devil is a Part-Timer, which I personally enjoyed a lot, so I'm very interested to see this new series and sort of see what it's talking about. But yeah, Unmagical Girl coming out on the 28th for $13 a volume. A lot of 7 Seas coming out on the 28th, because right here we have Magical Girl Special Ops Asuka, or Magical Girl Special Ops, or Spec Ops Asuka. $13 a volume again. I did look into this a little bit, because I'm slightly interested in it. This could be a completely inaccurate assumption on my part, but it sounds... And by sounds, I mean after me reading like 3 sentences about what it's about in the other series, that it sounds like it might be in the same vein as like a Magical Girl Sight or a Magical Girl Apocalypse. But I've not read either of those 2 series, so this could be completely inaccurate. But to me, sounds like it's going to be somewhere along those lines. It's a new Magical Girl series that's coming out. I don't know much about it, but those seem to be fairly popular recently, so if you're into Magical Girl stuff, Magical Girl Special Ops Asuka is coming out on the 28th for $13 a volume retail. These are all the retail prices. I'm sure most of you don't purchase volumes retail, but so keep in mind that these are the retail prices. I don't know if I have to say that or not, but yeah, these are the retail prices. And last up for 7Cs, we have Anti-Magic Academy, the 35th Test Platoon, which is a 2-in-1 complete omnibus coming out on the 28th for $20. I know this has an anime for it that I've seen, but it's been a while. It wasn't that good, in my opinion. I didn't think it was that great. It was okay. Wasn't the worst I've seen, but it wasn't amazing either. But it is a 2-in-1 complete omnibus, so it is a full story, or at least the full story of the manga. I think there's a light novel that may or may not still be ongoing for this series. But yeah, it's a complete series based on a light novel, has an anime adaptation. So yeah, that's coming out on the 28th for $20, and it is complete. Next up, we have Vertical Comics with their one and only new series coming out, and that would be Arakawa Under the Bridge. I do know that this has 2 anime adaptations. Not sure if this is the original work or an adaptation, but these are 2-in-1 omnibuy, or it's a 2-in-1 omnibus, and they are $18 per, so they're pretty cheap for an omnibus, especially by Vertical, because normally Vertical volumes are kind of expensive, but this one, not so much. I don't know much about the series. I've heard good reviews about it. But yes, that is the one Vertical Comics series coming out in November on the 21st, Arakawa Under the Bridge. And moving on to Viz Media, who surprisingly does not have that many new series coming out, but on the 21st we have Children of the Whales, which I think is a shoujo or josei. Not entirely certain on that, but I think that's what it is. It is $13 per volume, and don't really know much else about it, but it's there. And on the 28th, I think this series was originally supposed to come out on the 7th, but because of a warehouse fire, they had to push back the release date to the 28th, and that is SP Baby. This is the first volume of a 2-volume series. It is a josei, and they are $10 a volume. Since it's very short and very cheap, I'm already very interested in the series. Plus, it's a josei, so we don't get very many of those. So if you're thinking about a josei, this is a very cheap one to pick up, and it's very short. The first volume comes out, as I said, on the 28th, and I think the second volume is going to be coming out February of next year. So if you want to check out a josei series, this is a very short, very cheap one to do so with. So there's that. Next up, we have the Yen Press releases, who have a lot of series coming out in September. On the 7th, we have Corpse Party Book of Shadows, which is a 3-in-1 complete omnibus for $30. I believe this is a sequel to Corpse Party Blood Covered, but I'm not 100% on that, so if you are a fan of the Corpse Party series, there is a new series coming out on the 7th, and that is a complete 3-in-1 omnibus for $30. Next up, we have Aka, or ACCA, coming out on the 14th. That is $15 a volume, so pretty expensive. I think it's in the Yen Press sort of larger format size, which are fairly expensive volumes at $15. But that's another story for another day. But this recently had an anime adaptation for it. So if you've seen the anime series, you might know what this is about. I personally do not, because I haven't seen that anime series. But yes, Aka, or ACCA, is coming out on the 14th. Oh, and I should note, this is, I believe it's by Natsume Ono. So if you're a fan of her work, this is another one of her series. So there's Aka. Also coming out on the 14th is Forbidden Scrollery. That is going to be $13 a volume. This is a series that I know nothing about. So it's a new series coming out on the 14th for $13 a volume. I think that means it's in the Yen Press standard size. So there it is, Forbidden Scrollery, for those of you who want to look into what this series is about on the 14th of November. And next up, we have another Sword Art Online manga light novel. Well, it's a manga, but in the franchise, Sword Art Online Alternative Gun Gale Online. It is going to be $13 a volume. I know Sword Art Online is a very, very, very polarizing series, so I'm just not even going to touch on that, other than saying that a new sequel series is going to be released on the 14th by Yen Press for $13 a volume. Also on the 14th, we have a new series called A Polar Bear in Love for $15 a volume. I literally know nothing about this series. It sounds strange. Is what I'm gonna use to describe it. So yes, if the title sounds interesting to you, or you want to go and look up a synopsis for A Polar Bear in Love, you can do so, and it is coming out on the 14th for $15 a volume. And last up for Yen Press, kind of. You'll see what I mean by that later. But Puella Magi Tart Magica, The Legend of John Dark, Volume 5, which is the final volume for that specific Madoka, or Puella Magi, Madoka Magica sort of spin-off series, is coming out on the 14th. So if you're a fan of the Madoka sort of conglomeration of tons of series, because I know there are a ton of spin-offs and sequels and side stories to that franchise, the 5th and final volume is coming out on the 14th for $13. That is going to be $13 for the whole series, and it's only 5 volumes long. So if you're really into Madoka or that sort of world lore, you know, this is another one of the Madoka franchise that is out there. But yeah, that will do it kind of for the Yen Press series. Now we're going to move on to what I call special releases, or series that don't really fit into one of the 6 major publishers. I know Dark Horse isn't on here because they didn't release anything new, but this is going to be more so for series that don't fall in with the major publishers because there aren't that many of them. So first off, we have A Strange and Mystifying Story, which is a yaoi by Sublime. It's $13 a volume. I know nothing about it. So if you are a yaoi fan, there's a new series coming out that I know nothing about. So I can't really talk. We also have the Pokemon X and Y box set coming out on the 14th, and that is released by Viz Media, and that is a $55 box set. I don't know, or I haven't been following the Pokemon manga. I've not read any of it, so I don't know how it is, or how X and Y compares to the rest, but if you've been following the series, the X and Y box set is going to be released on the 14th of November for $55. And last up for the manga, we probably have the most exciting release for this month, which is the Pandora box release by Yen Press, which is the complete box set for Pandora Hearts, in the most expensive box set released, actually, but it does collect all of Pandora Hearts in a very nice looking box set, and the volumes themselves are 2-in-1 omnibuy. Not sure if they're good quality or if they are bad quality, so I can't really say the quality of the volumes, but the box itself looks very nice and very well done. I'll probably have a picture of the box on screen right now, but it is $230, so very expensive box set, coming out on the 21st, but even though it's $230, it is still a long series, so it is still probably cheaper to purchase the box set than to pick up all of the volumes individually. I could be incorrect on that. It could be cheaper to pick up all the volumes individually, but I can't imagine it being much cheaper than just buying the box set, which is limited edition, which has its own merits. So if you are a Pandora Hearts fan, or you've read it on scans and you really like the series, now might be the time to pick it up, because it is a limited edition box set. So that is coming out on the 21st, and yeah, the most expensive box set ever released, to my knowledge. And now I'm going to move on to light novels. I will be doing sort of like art books later, so if you're not interested in LNs, I might have a time code appear on screen somewhere. I might not. Depends on what editing me feels like doing. But yes, there will be art books covered later, but right now I'm going to be covering the LNs. So to start off with, on the 7th of November, we have a novel released by Yen Press. It is a hardcover for $20, and that is the Your Name spin-off or tie-in series, Your Name, Another Side, Earthbound. And this is sort of kind of a retelling of Your Name, but from my understanding, it's from the perspectives of the other characters around the two main characters. So it's sort of like a different perspective on the things that are going on, I think. I don't really know much about it because I've not read it myself, but that is what the synopsis is leading me to believe. So if you are a big Your Name fan, there's another novel coming out, and it's a hardcover. Yeah, I don't know what else much to say about that. We also have ReZero X or ReZero EX coming out on the 14th by Yen Press for $14. That is a tie-in series to ReZero or ReZero. I don't know much about the spin-off series. I've seen the original ReZero anime. But again, this is a tie-in. Not sure what characters it follows or who specifically it's about. But if you're a ReZero fan, there is another light novel coming out on the 14th. We also have the Spice and Wolf sequel series, Wolf in Parchment, coming out on the 14th as well. That is also released by Yen Press, and it is $14 per volume. I've been enjoying my read of Spice and Wolf. I know it's an 18-volume long, but it might even be longer. It might be ongoing. I can't remember. But yeah, a sequel series, Wolf in Parchment, is coming out on the 14th for $14 a volume. If you are interested or have read all of Spice and Wolf, you now have more. Can't speak to the quality of the sequel series, but it exists, and maybe you want to check it out. Yeah, more Spice and Wolf. Could be good, could be bad. I've not read very far into Spice and Wolf myself, but of what I've read, it has been fantastic. Last up for the Yen Press light novels, we have So I'm a Spider, So What?, which is coming out also on the 14th for $14. I don't know anything about this series. I know they're also releasing the manga adaptation of the light novel as well, sometime down the road. But as for information about the series specifically, I have no idea. So if you're a light novel fan, this is a new series that not many people know about, I would say. I certainly don't know about it. And I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so there's that. On the 28th, we have the final light novel or new light novel series being released this month, and that is Neko Monogatari Black by Vertical Comics, and is a $16 volume. And the extent of my knowledge of this is that it is a Monogatari series novel, and Monogatari series is not a series I have read nor watched any of, so I can't really say anything about it. But for those of you who are into the Monogatari series, Neko Monogatari Black is coming out on the 28th, and it is released by Vertical for $16. And that will wrap up the new light novels coming out. in the month of November. And now to just quickly go over some art books and other special type releases, we have the Ghost in the Shell Read Me 1995 to 2017 coming out on the 7th by Kodansha Comics. This is a hardcover book. It is $25, and to my understanding, it's just a bunch of interviews with directors, writers that have been involved with different Ghost in the Shell projects since its inception. I know it covers the first film and the recently released live action with Scarlett Johansson. So, if you're a huge Ghost in the Shell fan, you might want to buy this. I'm not sure. Maybe you don't want to buy it. Maybe it's just useless stuff. But yeah, there is a new Ghost in the Shell book. I think it's just interviews, artwork, that kind of stuff. It's not classified as an art book, so that leads me to believe it's mainly interviews. But then again, I've not seen the actual book itself. But that is coming out on the 7th for $25 for those of you who are interested. Next we have a Sword Art Online art book, Sword Art Online ABEC, or Sword Art Online ABEC artworks, coming out on the 14th, and that is a $30 art book released by Yen Press. Not sure if it's a paperback or a hardcover, so I don't know how durable it is, but it's a Sword Art Online art book. Don't know what else to say about that. And last up, on the 21st of November, we have the $25 hardcover Tokyo Ghoul Zaki art book released by Viz Media, and as the name would imply, it is a hardcover art book of Tokyo Ghoul. So Sui Ishida illustrations. If you're interested in art books and you like Tokyo Ghoul, there's a Tokyo Ghoul hardcover art book coming out on the 21st for $25. I don't really know what to talk about when it comes to art books other than, hey, it's an art book. There's going to be art. Do you like art books? Do you want to look at the art of series you like? Well, there's an art book for you that's coming out this month. But yeah, that will do it for this What's for Sale, first of the series, potentially last if you guys don't like this, because you know, not sure if this series is desired, needed, wanted, XYZ, ed. It's yeah, if you want to see more of this, if you want to see me add in some sort of like big notable series releases, I can do that. If you don't want to see this ever again and you're like, oh, I just sat through a bunch of nonsense, how could you release a video like this? You know, I don't have to upload these, but it is kind of fun. It's informative. If you don't know what's coming out, these are the things that are coming out. So yeah, if you have questions about a specific series, I tried to give my opinions on the series that I haven't read, so wrong opinions effectively because I don't know anything about most of these. But yeah, if you saw something you like, or saw something you didn't know was coming out and now you do, and you're like, wow, I want to get that, then I'm happy to have helped you, I guess, or maybe I hurt you because now your wallet is crying. But yeah, that will do it for this video. Again, leave suggestions in the comments below. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and share. Share to your friends that don't know what's coming out, what new series are coming out. But yeah, if you want to see more of my content, you can hit that subscribe button. But that'll be all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Laethas. Goodbye.